Hello, and thank you everybody for joining us today to our second episode of Community Chats. Today, I am joined by the children's librarian at the Alma Reed Watts Library, Charlene Nichols. Thank you so much, Charlene, for being with us today.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the program that you've been doing for the last couple of years. Well, I want to begin by asking you, can you tell us a little bit about AstroCamp?
Yeah, I've been doing it for years now. I didn't think I would be doing it so long, and then I just finished up. But it's a collaboration between Stennis, which is, I should know where Stennis is, shouldn't I? It's back east. It's back east. And a lot of the Astro camps, I'm one of the, now finally there's a second official Astro camp in California. But for a long, long time, I was the only Astro camp in California. I'm like, come on, people, come on. They're so supportive and wonderful. And so I've been doing it every summer for around 4 years, usually in the month of July, 2 times a week. Programs twice a week, and they're all related to NASA topics. But what happened is, when we were during the pandemic, I couldn't do it twice a week. It was too much. So I did it all through summer from June to August because I wanted to get my 10 sessions in, because I always have to do 10 sessions. So yeah.
Ultimately, how did you get involved with this?
Yeah, I got involved with it because I got an email, and it said, you can be an AstroCamp, you can be a NASA AstroCamp. I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, but I can't really be a NASA AstroCamp, because of course you think of those being day-long programs with, lots of activities, and the kids
Right.
get dropped off and all that. And I'm like, well, if I was only doing 1 hour programs,
Right.
once or twice a week, can I do it? And they said, well, as long as you get your 10 sessions in over the summer, it doesn't matter, you're good. And so I'm like, well, sign me up. Also, it happened to be the 50th anniversary of Explorer 1. And it was the year of that crazy eclipse. Like, everybody was so into the eclipse, the lunar eclipse. And I had glasses, and yeah, and we did programs around that. And so it was like, really, that was when I kind of first started. So the whole thing was like, oh my God, I'm so excited about, tying all my programming to NASA, because that was an exciting thing anyway to me. So yeah.
Right. And also, for a time, you did work at JPL as well?
I was really, really lucky to get picked for a type of internship while I was still doing my master's library information science, my library degree. While I was still working on that, they said, oh, there's a special kind of internship for people. And so I got to work in the archives, records, and library system of JPL. And then they kept on switching my credentials. Oh, well, there's a right after you graduate program. So they switched me into that. And then then I was finally full-time, and I got to be there for 4 years, and it was absolutely incredible, because I was just fangirl girl. So
one of the things for Take the Lead, we have different values, and when we're having some of our conversations before the recording, I thought about visionary, because I was thinking, like, what was some of the motivation for getting involved with Stennis, particularly with Stennis and the library?
Yeah, well, one thing I think is that in order to be visionary, you have to have really supportive management, because I was pretty new when I was saying I wanted to be an AstroCamp, and I had to go to a day-long training and everything, and then figure out how to do this program and run with it. But everybody was always super supportive to me. I mean, in one way, it's visionary because, of course, you get 1,000 emails, and you can't do everything that you get. Anything that anybody tells you, you might, you can't do it all. But it was more like I saw something that was true to my own heart, and I just said, like, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And they said, okay, well, you might want to think about it. It might be stressful, but you can do it if you really want to do it. So that's the most important thing, like being really excited about something and making it your own, and then feeling so responsible for it. You got to carry this baby. You got to nurture
I was
it.
really curious about, in terms of adaptability. You've participated in this program for like about 3 years. What are some of the obstacles you faced pre-pandemic and maybe even, I guess, post-pandemic that
Yeah.
where you see?
Yeah, it's true. It changed. Like you'd think, after you do it year after year, you get more used to it and you'd be more organized and stuff, which I am to some extent because everything isn't new. Like it's not every single thing is new. But yeah, the first one was just like I knew I had to do 10 and I knew how they had kind of broken down just because it was the first time I was trying to do it. They had broken down their types of activities into different. So I tried to do one, like say planetary, like the solar system kind of in 1 week. And then the next week I might try and do Earth observing. And then 1 week I might try and do, rocketry or whatever, things to do with propulsion, more engineering stuff. But like, anyways, the point is I just broke it down the way they broke it down, but I didn't really have ideas about, certain things seemed fun to me, but like I said, the first time everything was new, every material was new, and it was getting a lot more materials, just from home, bringing them from home or whatever, than I would have. So like the materials, I realized, okay, this is a little more intensive to be doing all these programs with such weird materials. Like even if it was just flour, like you don't have flour at the branch, it's not like art supplies, it's something
Right.
strange. Balloons or something, we didn't have balloons, so I had to go get balloons. But like, it wasn't that any of it was expensive, but it was all you had to think about it. And then also to really try and incorporate, because I've been doing crafts for a long time, but really try and incorporate the science into so the first year was hard just because it was all new and it was a lot. And it was, like I said, getting the materials and everything was harder. But then I was getting mini grants or something and talking to the people at Stennis, and they were saying that they could support in some of those ways. And so I thought I was in a good place for my lessons learned for the first time. And then the second year was the pandemic. Yeah, we were all home. So I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to be the same. Whatever lessons I learned, this is all totally new.
Right.
But really quickly I started doing, because I had this like, why am I in this house all day long? Like, I don't know what everybody else, I'm sure everybody thought that, but like,
Right.
I really, really felt it. So I'm like, I've got to do something creative or that is exciting every week. And so I started doing these Instagram videos for my programs. And then I had to do first I was just doing all the AstroCamp programs on these 10-minute Instagram videos. It was really intense. Like they were really packed. It wasn't just one experiment, which it should have been. Then at the very end of the first summer, I actually started a Zoom class, and I had because I started realizing that there is something that I was still missing from not having the kids involved. And so the very beginning of the first summer, I started having Zoom as well. So I'd have the video, and in my mind, the video, they should watch that before they did it. And then we'd take one activity from the video and do it together on Zoom. So the next summer, which was last summer, I continued the Zoom, and it got huge. And for the first time, I was having 20 and 30 kids, and I was like, I'd split it up by age groups, and I was like getting a real good Zoom following. But at the very end of the last summer, I was like, oh, I should do one that's combined or something, because now we can do outdoor programming, and I should try and do one in our courtyard. And of course it was impossible. I couldn't really project the Zoom and have the kids in at the same time. So I kind of dropped that. I only did it once. Anyways, every year so far it's been completely different than the last year. So hopefully starting this year, I will actually have been able to implement something I learned from previous ones.
Right.
Put it into this one. So
yeah, and part of Take the Lead, one of the values we have is empowering, which is, allowing other people who have certain strengths, like kind of take the lead at times. How do you view the involvement of and collaboration with clerks or messenger clerks. How do you view that? How do you view that as a librarian and
Yeah.
programming?
Well, you know what happened in the old days, I would have like different stations where the kids can move from station to station. So in my mind, I wanted stations in the video, and so like I was doing 3 or 4 things. Anyways, they were really complicated, and then I was amazingly able to get Leilani who is our MC, cut them all together, and later on she learned how to do all the closed captioning, and she added all these fun graphics, and she made a whole theme song for me, and she made my Instagram videos really seem like they were professional little webisodes of a TV show or something, you know. I mean, it was still me and my wackiness, so it wasn't exactly professional, but yeah, the level at which I gave these things to her and the level at which they came back into this little 10-minute video was just really unbelievable and outstanding. And in fact, we went to a conference, and I said, you know, you've got to go to this conference with me to kind of talk about how we adapted to making our programs virtual, because you brought so much to it, and I can't even speak to what you did, and other people might be interested in some of the software and stuff. And so we have a presentation where she really went through, like, you know, the 7 kinds of software she uses to like make things look as amazing as they did. But being able to do all that, I knew in another way that Leilani would be so amazingly artistic and creative that it wasn't just to me, it wasn't just that she was supporting me, which of course she was supporting me. Oh my God, she was so supporting me. Like, that wasn't just it. It was also that she had this amazing side to her that was really incredible. Yeah, I could tell the level at which she was able to do design work. And so it was really natural to have her help me. And of course, she's amazingly sweet and unbelievably adaptable. Yeah, talking about adaptable, she is so adaptable. Whatever you throw at her, oh my God, is that girl raised to the, like, she just, like, you give her this and you expect this and she's here, you know, like, it's just unbelievable.
That's great. And here's when we get to the fun portion, at least for me, where I ask you some questions specifically, you know, about you. Well, how would you describe a leader, and do you consider yourself a leader?
The bad thing is we have an amazing branch manager, senior Jasmine. She's really empowering to each and every one of us. Like I said, the way that I was able to kind of run with my program or whatever, and the MCs are able to like do the little design boards and stuff. Like, she really sees your strengths and she really adapts to your learning style. Like, she knows one person doesn't really respond to emails, so she goes over and talks to him. Like, you know, like, she's like such an amazing leader that, like, compared to that level, like, you'll just never get there, right? You'll always be like, so I'm like, no, I'm not a leader. But I guess in a lot of ways we really do lead all the time. Another one of my coworkers said, she's like, you know, we're all leaders. We're all doing this every day. We come to work, we make thousands of decisions, even if it's just answering a reference question, making the decisions you make. We don't have like rote work. We're always making decisions, and we're always being our own. And you can never be somebody else. You always have to be who you are and just try and bring the best of what you have. So in that way, I guess I do. She's helping me. Faye is helping me decide that, yeah, maybe.
Well, trust me, a lot of people watching this really would consider you a leader. And it's very funny because usually when, in the past, when I've asked this question, usually everybody gets like, no, I'm not. But I mean, obviously this amazing program that you're doing, these collaborations you're doing with both, you know, an outside group, Stennis, as well as with in-house, and getting, you know, other staff, and then having an amazing senior, as you mentioned. I mean, it just really shows that having that environment really, really allows staff to shine.
Yeah.
And I love what you said. And one last thing, do you have any advice for those who are motivated to get involved with, you know, with either doing community programming or programming? What advice would you give them?
I guess there's two things. One thing is kick your own butt and like start. Like even if it seems really stupid, like the other day, not the other day, before the pandemic, I was trying to think about making AstroCamp a little bigger because we always had excited kids, but not maybe a lot of kids. And I was going to go over the park. And for a long time, I just wouldn't leave the branch to go over the park to talk to them. But when I finally did, they were like, oh my God, of course. What we have these youth programs and we'd love to have you here. And like, so part of it is like, even if you have a little bit of an idea, but you don't know how to go forward, and then if you go over and talk to somebody, they might help you go forward, or you might see more how to go forward.
Right.
Even if like you just like start, I guess is my point. Like sending the email saying like, but I can't really as a librarian be an AstroCamp, can I? Like just even if you think the answer is no, like just start. Like starting gets you way farther than you would imagine. Like all of a sudden the thing is going and you're not even sure how it happened. Like just start.
Well, Charlene, thank you so much for taking this time to talk with us.
Thank you for having me.
And take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.